Housewives of Cheshire. Watch it Monday at 9 on ITVB or from 7 a.m. on ITV Hub. This programme is sponsored by Patient Claimline, medical negligence specialists.
This is Judge Rinder. He's waiting to hear your case.
Someone damaged your property but is refusing to replace it or mend it. Maybe you've loaned somebody equipment but it came back broken and now you want to be reimbursed. Or have you been accused of damaging property that wasn't your fault and you want to prove you owe nothing? Get in touch, because I'm waiting to hear your case. If you're 18 or over and would like to be considered for the show, text the word judge plus your name to 63334. Text costs 25 pence plus one standard network rate message. Or call 090 11 22 3344. Calls cost 25 pence plus your network access charge. Or email judge@itv.com. Please note we are unable to consider claims that have been or are currently in court.
Alan is in court to claim £760 from his friend for money he paid for a last-minute holiday. Defendant Nigel says he has already returned some of the money, but as Alan offered to pay for the holiday, technically he owes nothing.
Now, night two, did you find a hotel?
Yeah, we found one 4 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah.
Did you pay for said hotel?
Yeah.
Did you tell Nigel he had to pay you back?
Yes.
Did you spend much time in the hotel?
Well, no, I was in the pool. I was in the pool.
You were in the pool the whole time?
Most of the time.
So you carried on drinking, correct?
Yeah.
Do you remember being sober at all during this entire trip?
Not at all.
Not by the looks of that. There are you, wiped out in the middle. Is that you or is
No,
that
it's Nigel.
Nigel? I can't tell the difference.
Nigel.
Yeah, that's me.
And then you came home. Flight home. How long did it take you to recover?
Well, to be honest, so as soon as we landed, as soon as we left in the airport, we went straight back to the club. We left in the beginning without travel bags.
Now, Alan, thing is, it's all very funny, but you have a job. Must have been surprising to your employer to show up for a couple of days.
Bit of a shock, yeah.
Sorry?
Bit of a shock, yeah.
Very understanding employee. You must be a very good member of staff for them to continue said employment. Now, you can't afford just to get up in the middle of the night after a few drinks and find yourself in Palma. You say to me that you asked Nigel to pay you back, and he agreed during the entire substance of this trip.
Yeah.
Substance being the operative word. You have some evidence about that based on a text message, correct?
Yeah.
Let's see the text message. Ring me. Don't forget money today, Nige. I don't give a... Well, there's no replies. Where are the replies?
I ignored him for days. I just dodged him.
I don't give a about your sob story. I want £150 of don't give a... Nige, can you sort any money out today? Ring me. Any joy with that money? And that's been going on for days. Why don't you owe this money, do you say?
Well, the holiday was free. That's what he told me until we got up there.
Now, you say he owes you how much?
It's down to 760 now.
Now, this is a very important part of your claim, £760, because you say that Nigel has already made an instalment, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Now, what was the instalment?
£90.
Why would you pay back £90 if you believed that it was a free trip?
Well, it was free at the time, but I did agree when we were away to pay some back. But
£90 you paid back?
It was a free holiday. He said it was a free holiday. Have whatever you want. Eat what you want, drink what you want.
£90 you paid back?
Yeah.
Did there come a time when there was a discussion about even more, perhaps £250 a month, something of that sort? Yes?
I did have some money from last week.
Well, you may have done. Here's my problem, sir. How much did he actually spend? What proof have you got? How have you come up with an assessment that he owed you in total? Well, what was the total? 850?
Yeah, and he paid off 90, yeah.
Well, you said £90, right? That takes you to £850. How can I be confident that that is an accurate sum, it's a very round figure, of the money that he took whilst he was on holiday, that he benefited from? Have you gone through your bank statements? Have you looked at your card? Have you calculated it up? And does it come to £850?
I kept a track on my phone whenever he had money, but I got my bank statements here.
I believe you. Now, the two of you are still friends, correct? The difficulty is that this is a lot of money to you. You're a hard-working person, and you need it, correct? Why should you not pay it back, Nigel?
Well, to be honest with you, I was the only one who went for them. He offered like 10 boys to go on holidays with him. And I was the only one who said I'd go, and he said he'd pay for me.
So you did him a favour?
I did him a favour.
Thank you very much. I'm going to give a ruling now. Moving forward, I presume you'd like to maintain a friendship with Nigel?
Yeah.
Well, that's, I have to tell you, a matter for you, because, sir, there's very little I can do in this case. Alan, Nigel, the two of you are friends. Alan, I absolutely believe that at the time you agreed to take Nigel on holiday with you, I'll loosely describe it as a holiday. It strikes me as a 48-hour period of drunken madness. Some people loosely describe that as a bender. This was a nuclear-powered bender. I'm not saying for a second that I am an expert on benders, but you get the idea. The point is this, sir. I believe that you didn't fully expect to pay all of the money, and that intuitively you expected Nigel to pay you half. And what's more, at some point during that trip, you would have said to Nigel things like, you know, you're going to have to pay this back, my friend, and that he would have loosely agreed. However, you have two problems in your case as far as the law is concerned. The first one is you haven't kept a clear and confident account of exactly how much money was spent, which would mean that even if you had an enforceable agreement, the court couldn't confidently come up with a sum as to how much he owed, because there isn't an accurate record. That's your first problem. Even if there was, and even if I was satisfied that I could assess how much he spent, and I couldn't, your next problem is that you don't have an intention to create legal relations. In other words, there's no enforceable contract because nothing was signed at the time. For a contract to be lawful, especially amongst friends, it's absolutely critical that both parties know that in the event you don't pay the money back, you're going to end up in court. Now, even if you had an enforceable contract, and even if it was signed, your third problem in this case, sir, is that this agreement or contract, if there was one, and there was not, was entered into at a time both of you were drunk. You at a 9. Understood? Consequently, I'm afraid to say that as a matter of law, I have absolutely no choice for those 3 reasons alone to dismiss your case, and that is what I do. Case dismissed. However, it is quite clear to me that Nigel has attempted to make some repayment, and that is to his credit, albeit at this stage only to the tune of £90. If you want to make this agreement enforceable moving forward, the two of you are going to have to draw up a document out of court and get him to agree to a sum, it's a matter for him if he does, and a regular payment plan. That's a matter for you to do. I can't help. Do you understand? If you're the type of decent friend, which I intuitively expect you might be, you'll sign that. Understood? Case dismissed. Stay away from Italy.
Alan's case was dismissed, and he was awarded nothing by the court. Let's find out how both parties felt about the judge's ruling.
It was alright, to be honest with you, very in my favour. I'm happy with that.
Bit gutted, to be honest, but what can we do? It is what it is.
I keep spending, I keep going out drinking, and like, I shouldn't have done it. But it's the life of Nigel. Oh, he's mental, you can't write it.
Mikey is in court to claim £500 from his former partner for loss of earnings after a botched haircut left him feeling too self-conscious to go to work. Defendant Ash admits to performing the haircut, but claims the mishap was a tragic accident, and therefore he owes nothing.
Now, do I have Mickey here?
Mikey, sir.
Mikey. Oh, what a shame. Because your name originally was what?
Ricky.
Ricky.
Yeah.
So it would have been Mickey and Ricky. All I needed was Jill and a hill and the whole thing would be perfect. Only, as I understand it, Ricky, you ended up in a relationship with Mickey.
Yeah.
At the time, excuse me, Mikey, do forgive me. I just love assonance so much. The point is that you changed your name after you ended up in a relationship with Mikey, correct?
Correct.
What did you change your name to?
Ashley.
Ashley. Any particular reason? Was it a bit of a throwback to Coronation Street? What was it?
No, I've never really liked the name I was given when I was born, so just got rid of it.
Well, what was wrong with Ricky?
Bianca Butcher out of EastEnders. I had it my whole life, man. It was my childhood, so no. Just
What do you mean, Bianca from EastEnders? What would happen? I don't understand.
I just got mocked a lot thanks to EastEnders.
So EastEnders ruined your early life.
Yeah. No.
Consequently, you changed your name.
Yeah.
Understand. How long did you know each other before you ended up in a relationship, Mikey?
Probably about 4 or 5 weeks.
Understood. Now, it evolved, and it evolved fairly quickly because you ended up making a rather big decision. What was that, Ash?
I came to visit for the weekend. Been here 4 years now. So just never went home.
Understood. He came around. It was a weekend visit. He bought perhaps a present of some wine and a loaf of bread, and 4 years later he's still there, correct?
Well, still in the area, but not with me.
But you certainly did have a relationship at the beginning.
We did, yeah, for 2.5 years.
For 2.5 years. What were Mikey's best qualities?
No comment.
I think, sir, if I ask you about what a gentleman's best qualities are, and your answer is no comment, we should leave it there. Let me tell you, sir, there are people having their afternoon cups of tea. Would you describe him as tight? Careful with money?
No.
You wouldn't?
He's not careful with money, no.
Well, you certainly have an attitude about sparing money when it comes to certain things. And there's one thing in particular, which is very strange to me, that you are especially worried about when it comes to keeping some money in your pocket. What am I referring to, Mikey?
A haircut.
A haircut. You've got a job, you've worked hard, you've spent money on clothes and going out and that sort of thing, correct?
Correct.
He's prepared to do all of that. But when it comes to his hair,
Cheap.
cheap. Now, Ash, I'll come to you. Prior to moving in with Mikey, were you a qualified hairdresser?
No. I'm qualified in horse care, so I've never really had to.
Well, that's exactly my point. When it comes to cutting hair, had you ever done it on humans?
Only him.
So when it came to brushing things, it was really only horses that you'd dealt with, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm not suggesting whatsoever that there is any reference between Mikey and a horse. I don't understand. Over the time that you were together, there had been previous occasions where you'd asked Ash to cut your hair.
That's not correct, sir.
Never at all?
No, only the once. And never again.
Is that true? Had you previously cut it?
I've cut his hair at least 5 times. I used to dye it, so... No, I used to dye it, but not cut it.
Let's just pause. You used to dye his hair. Why did you dye your hair? What colour is it underneath that?
I've done it twice in my life, and he done it for me. It's usually, that is my natural colour, but I dyed it brown those 2 times.
Well, why did you not want to be your natural colour? What is your natural colour?
Strawberry blonde.
Strawberry blonde. A euphemism for ginger.
Yes, that's the one, George.
Well, why did you not want to be ginger? There are lots of proud gingers out there.
I am a proud ginger, strawberry blonde, sorry, but I just fancied a change.
You fancied a change. And so he dyed your hair, but you say he never cut it. He never used clippers ever.
Except...
Is that correct?
No.
Now, I'm not suggesting that you... Well, did you think that your mane had some sort of connection with a horse that would give him the relevant qualifications to give you a splendid do?
Same kind of texture.
No. Excuse me, what did you say?
I said it's the same kind of texture.
You have the same kind of texture as a horse?
Apparently.
In what sense, sir?
It's quite wiry when it gets too long.
It's wiry.
Yeah.
How charming. Now, there came a point where eventually, let's get to the subject of the dispute, Mikey, you had been what I might loosely describe as out together. Am I right? And during the course of that evening, Ash, had any alcohol been consumed?
I'd been drinking with his friend, yeah.
No criticism. In fact, it's a rather important part of your case. How much had you been drinking, Ash?
Drank at least a bottle and a half of wine.
Right, so you were, well, let me describe. One being, I'm okay.
I was about a 4.
You're about a 4. On a bottle and a half.
I can handle my drink.
I believe you. Now, you were aware of this, correct?
I just got home from work. I wasn't aware how much they'd had to drink.
He presented to you as perfectly okay, but you knew he'd been drinking, correct?
I knew he had a glass of wine. Yeah.
Did you join? Did you partake?
Not straight away, no.
Not straight away, but eventually, correct?
Later in the evening, after this happened, I needed a drink.
Coming next.
The local shop, a few hours after it happened, I walked in, he turned around and says, "Oh, look, it's Sinead O'Connor."
You're claiming for £500 because you say, I was so ashamed by what happened, I couldn't go to work.
This program is sponsored by Patient Claim Line, medical negligence specialists.
That's my boy.